What do you think?
Oh my god, I love it! Oh, you know what this means?
What does this mean?
We get some storage. Get here! We get some storage. We get to unpack. I get to see my shit.
Shock Munch. This week, Kieran makes
DIY Custom Storage Shelving.
Hey everybody, I'm Christina.
I'm Kieran.
And you're watching Shock Munch. What are we doing this week, honey?
We're gonna be building shelves.
Yes, storage shelves.
Yes.
We desperately need storage in this house. Ow! So a couple years ago, Kieran and I bought a 1938 Tudor style. Come on, Myron. Oh my God, is he smelling my breath? And even though our house is rather large, she's elderly, and she just has not been able to keep up with the storage needs of 2018. I mean, how many closets do you think this house has? Like
2?
3?
Maybe 2 or 3?
Couple
2 or 3.
Couple 2 or 3. I would guess 70% of our stuff is still upstairs in boxes in our crawl space, right? You think we could? You know, it's been 3 years or so since we purchased this house.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I miss my shit.
Yeah.
I really want to see my stuff again and love it and hold it and tell it how much I missed it and, I don't know, use it.
So this week, we're gonna show you how we built these custom fit shelves for our little cellar room here.
Well, and when he says we, it's really just him.
We're gonna show you how I built these shelves.
Yes, I'm gonna get out of here because he is heading up this project, so see ya.
All right, come with me. All right, so this is the room we're planning to build some shelves for. Planning to put some along these walls here. This is a root cellar that came with our house. To be honest, I didn't know what a root cellar was before I moved here. For a moment, I thought it was the basis for all the other cellars. That's terrible. All right, so this is the basic mock-up we came up with. We're gonna have 3 shelves to kind of go in this U shape, 2 the same size here. And since we have this pipe here in the window, the top shelf's just gonna be a little shorter one around this side. All right, so after using some tape to measure out the footprint, we decided about 20 inches of depth would be good for our shelves and about 24 inches of height for each one. Kind of mapped out where all our legs are gonna go and placed some placeholders here to see how it feels. Looks pretty good. Just got back from the hardware store. I ended up getting 2x3s. I think they'll work fine for this project. Let me show you. So I ended up getting 35 2x3s, all 8 footers. I got 2 extra just for the sake of it. And I got my 4 sheets of plywood. Let's see how it goes. So first step is we want to rip these boards down to 20 inches so they're easier to work with. That's the width we're going to end up with. We're going to be able to cut this end off with the table saw, and then we'll have to do the rest with the jigsaw. I'm measuring the fence so we can make our cut. Just under 8 inches. Looks good. We're going to attempt to run it through the table saw. We're going to need to keep it flat to this table, definitely flat against this railing here.
The odds of me screwing this up are pretty good.
Fire in the hole. So, in order to do the jigsaw cut on this big piece of wood, what I've done is I've laid out these 2 tables and used some of the 2x3s to just hold up the wood so I can cut it without worrying about it. So we have this oddly shaped beam in the corner here we're going to need to work around. So in order to do that, we're going to pile up our 2x4s like that, somewhat, and we'll just cut a notch in the plywood. For that notch, we've measured out a 3-inch by 9.5 inch rectangle. Got our first dry fit, just to see the look and feel of how much space is going to take up and make sure everything fits. There's a little space back here for the legs. Got our little notch cut. I think overall it looks pretty good. All right, so it's cutting time. We're gonna cut these 2x3s down to length. Now the inside pieces are gonna fit like this. And since it's on the inside here, and I want about 20 inches total, I'm gonna need to subtract 3 inches from my total length, because each of these is about 1.5 inches on each side. Cut these down at 17 inches. Doing a test dry fit of our large B shelf. I'm gonna measure this out, make sure everything's good. All right, we've cut all the long pieces for the 2 bottom shelves. Found that marking them in pen is much more easier to read, and it's gonna get covered up by the shelf anyway, so we are looking good. Now for cutting our longer pieces, if we just cut them, they're gonna fall off either side, so we need some kind of support. Luckily, this IKEA table plus a paint can equals the height of this, so we can use this as a rest for our really long pieces. Yeah, probably not the safest way to go, but it'll do for now. It's time to cut the legs. So we got the legs cut. All right, it's a lot of wood. We're finally at assembly stage. These are the first 2 shelves here. I'm gonna drill some pilot holes with this guy and drill in the screws with this, using some 3-inch screws. All right, I'm gonna use those 2 as supports while I drill in the end piece and then just drill in the rest. Alright, I've screwed in my 2 end pieces, and I've divided the length by 3 to figure out the middle point I need here. And I've come up with this neat plan to hold everything in place. I just use the spare boards, clamp it together, and we're good to go. Here's what the A shelf looks like assembled. And here we got the B shelf. Here we've got the little lip on the end to accommodate for the weird beam. It's coming along. Halfway. Clamps really help put this thing together. We've got all our framed pieces done, ready to bring downstairs and assemble. I think I'm going to start with back here, build that, and then do the sides, and then just build it up. So what we've done here, we've piled up some wood on either side, some spare pieces just to hold it up to height, and then we're going to get going here. I'm only putting in 1 screw for now. That way we can level it off and do the other sides and put in the other screw. Pretty good. Now we've got one in the center here on this side, so I'm going to screw that in and that should hold everything up, hopefully. I'm going to remove these supporting blocks so we can get everything level. I'm going to use my clamp. we've got shelves A and B all set up with all their legs. We're gonna see if we can get away without doing a leg here. Just moving right along. Everything's still looking level. Next the C shelf over this side. All right, I propped up the center here with some support, and then I clamped this side so I can screw it right in. And I just clamped a piece here to hold it up while I'm working. All right, at this point, we've got the bottom shelf all framed up. It's time to put the plywood down. So part of it doesn't quite fit. Luckily, they make a specialty tool just for this problem. Nail gun time. All right, got the first shelf done. Looks pretty good, looks pretty sturdy. Not bad. Now I'm just gonna do the rest. All right, now when I cut down these 2x3s, ended up having a bunch of these little less than 1 inch spare pieces of wood. And I could just toss these out, but I had an idea for them. I'm gonna screw these in to hold up the shelf to make it easier to install everything. So in order to do that, I need the length of the whole shelf here, which is a little less than 3 inches. It's 2 3/4. 2 and 2.5. Let's see. Alright, so I'm going to try just putting these 2 in. That way I can make sure everything's level and it'll at least hold things up for me while I do so. Yeah, that works great. Now I have enough of these that I can leave them here for a little bit of additional support. But this one over here ended up with a little gap after leveling. Focus there, come in, focus, there you are, yeah. So this one here ended up with a little bit of a gap. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one out and use it for the other sides. I'll at least get it held up pretty good for now until I get everything level and screwed in. Okay, and with that, the second level of framing is done. Now we just need to tack on the top. A small snag with the top shelf here. This doesn't quite fit, and it seems, since this is on 3 legs here, it's rotated a little bit out of shape. So I'm gonna undo these screws, hopefully fit everything together, and take it from there. Alright, so that actually seemed to work. Undone those screws and was able to fit everything together. I've clamped these 2 together for now, so we can get these nice and level everything and screw it back in. Alright, last piece.
Kieran and Myron are having a full-on bromance over here. All right, so that's it. That is how Kieran built this custom shelving. You guys, we get to see our stuff. So excited, because I don't even remember what we have anymore. I am so impressed. You have done such a good job. I think we saved a lot of time by not staining it. And honestly, we didn't even really sand it down because it's just storage shelving for our shit.
Doesn't need to look pretty.
All right, you guys.
All right.
So that's it for this week. We both want to thank you so much for watching.
Thanks for watching.
If you have any questions or concerns about this project, if you notice that we've done something horribly wrong and it's going to fall apart and kill us all, definitely leave a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And if you want to get real fancy, hit that notification bell and YouTube will send you an alert every time we upload. All right, you guys, see you next week.
See you next week.
Shock Munch! Shock Munch!